Well, hi, everybody, and welcome. My name is Zane Lowe, and I'm thrilled to be here. We're gathered here in a Chinese restaurant right here in Chinatown, in Soho, in London, in the UK. And the reason we're here is we have a very special event that's going to unfold over the course of the next half an hour, 45 minutes. We are streaming live online around the world right now, and we're also in a room with members of the assembled world's press. Now, the reason we're here, it will all unfold over the course of this event as to why it's in a Chinese restaurant and why it's happening on this Chinese New Year. But the reason that we're here and you're online and we're all sitting in this room is because today's guests are one of the world's most beloved bands. They've given us so many incredible musical moments, albums, songs, live performances, events in our lives. And they haven't made any new music or done anything of that nature for some time. 16 years since their last album as a four-piece in spirit, 12 years since their last album in name as a three-piece. And today they join us with news. So please, put your hands together and be very happy to welcome back Blur. Formalities. What's going on? Sit down, guys.
Hello. It's going to be us. Best kept secret in pop.
Worst kept secret this morning. Best kept secret in pop. Welcome back. Good to see you guys. Thank you so much for coming through, and it's so good that you've got good news, big news, lots to talk about.
Well,
questions to take.
Good news. We've got news.
It's good news. We're going to take questions from people on Facebook, online. We're also going to take questions from the press. Damon's going to get himself sorted. Settle down. First things first.
The rumours are true. We are opening a Chinese restaurant here in Chinatown.
I'm retiring. What do you do?
Same as usual.
And what are you doing?
I'm waking up.
Really?
You're waking up?
Yeah.
That's
Really?
fucking interesting.
Never shook the rock star life. Let's get straight down to the first bit of good news, because of all the questions that keep coming in from people online right now, one of the most common ones is, are people going to get a chance to see you guys perform live?
Yeah.
And we can answer that question right now.
Yes. We're going to play it. We're going to play Hyde Park.
Mm-hmm. One more time.
One more time.
Fourth time.
Yeah.
But the reason why we're going to play it.
Yeah, do you want to give that away now? Or do you want to get to that?
Well, I wouldn't be doing this if it was just because we were doing a gig.
Well, I know. So let's talk a little bit about Hyde Park, because let's just string people along just a little bit longer. Well, okay,
you can string people along as long as you like.
Get on with it then.
Well, we've made a new record.
Yeah!
We've made a new record.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
It's great too. It's exciting news, man. We're all really happy that you've got in and finished a brand new album. We do need to talk about Hyde Park a little bit, because it's happening on June 20th, and obviously there's tickets to sell.
Well, I mean...
Not until February the 27th.
There you go. Someone's on message.
People who come to see us in the past know what we're like live, but on this occasion we also have a whole new set of things to kind of, get excited about. So there'll be even more music.
These are the facts that we already know. That you got into a recording studio or some kind of recording facility in Hong Kong for 5 days, right, Graham? In 2013?
Yeah. That's right, yeah. We had some, what did you say, downtime.
Right.
We had a cancellation when we were out in Hong Kong. There was a cancellation elsewhere, in Japan actually. And so we thought we'd put a few days, 5 or 6 days, to good use. And we located a studio and took all our stuff there and decided to just have a play, really.
We didn't really have much stuff.
Didn't we have much stuff?
No, we didn't have much stuff at all. I mean, it was back to sort of what felt like the way we recorded when we first started doing stuff together, especially a studio called Matrix, which isn't too far away from here, where we used to do all our B-sides. It was that sort of. It wasn't a flash studio. It was pretty claustrophobic. It was really hot. It was June. It was like.
And it was spontaneous. I mean, you didn't have that in the diary, right? It was like, with
not
a
at all.
cancellation.
Not at all. And we just went in there and knocked about loads of ideas, and we didn't get anything finished. And I don't know. We also, after that we went to Jakarta we did a gig, and then we didn't see each other for months, and then we did a few more gigs in South America. But during that time, I think the whole sort of thing had dissipated into what I thought there was, that it hadn't happened. You know, it was fun. It was a nice way to pass a few days, but nothing really sort of concrete had come out of it.
That's why this is such a lovely surprise, because we knew that you had recorded some music of some description because you've been open about it. Someone had said, you know, yeah, we've been laying down some ideas in Hong Kong.
Well, I did. When we went on stage, I said, hey, we've recorded a new record. Because I was just really excited about it, but we hadn't.
Right.
The point is we hadn't.
Yeah. And then, of course, it was like nothing sort of followed. And you know, we didn't have any idea that you were even going to return to the stage or what the future held for the band. So, in fact, you're sitting here now with an album. I want to trace that journey. First, I want to talk about the importance of Hong Kong, because we're here in a Chinese restaurant, and you know, I think the album artwork, if it hasn't been flashed up on the screen yet, it's already been in the paper here this morning. You know, that place obviously made a very large impression on you.
It's in simplified Chinese characters. No, not that one. That's
the Hyde Park poster.
That's the one.
That's
There you go. On the left it says Blur, and on the right it says the Magic Whip. Which is
I just love this morning that when that leaked,
in
they
the
were like,
middle there's an ice cream.
I love that this morning they were like, we've had it.
And then there's a little cloud down the bottom.
Who did the artwork actually? Who designed it?
A guy called Tony Hung. Right. He's fantastic.
I just love that. Is he here?
Where is he?
He's around.
Great job. It's amazing piece of
You in?
artwork. Don't we all agree?
Ah.
It's great.
Brilliant job.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we'd all like one, actually.
Yeah, it's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a photograph, right?
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
a
photograph
photograph
of the real-
of the real.
Yeah, of the real thing.
Yeah.
Wait, you're blowing my mind.
Yeah, it's real.
You can do that.
What? So Hong Kong, yeah, made a real impression on you because thematically on the record, it does feature, and that in those 5 days.
Well, yeah, that was. Well, let's just trace what happened after that. Nothing happened after that at all. And when people were asking me questions like, do you think anything's going to happen? No, I really don't think anything's going to happen. I was sort of doing my everyday robot stuff.
Was that news to you guys when Damon would say that, or did you have to do a conversation?
Well, the thing is, we all say things on we all say things different depending on what day it is, and depending on what hat we're wearing, depending who we are, what time of day. So to have someone saying
It's very old school, that. No one says anything anymore. You guys are like, there's no album. There's an album.
We haven't really worked out how the whole system works.
Still.
So we're always.
But we've all gone back to our own lives and existences and things like that.
Yeah.
And I suppose what we did, we went in the studio and we kind of made sound and we enjoyed ourselves. And I guess that there was the thing that was going to sit there, and the question was it going to sit there forever, or was something going to happen?
Who went back and listened to them? Who? Right.
It's his fault. This whole thing is his fault.
Graham Coxon, ladies and gentlemen.
And Stephen Street there. Between them, it's there.
All right, go on then.
Hello, Stephen.
Stephen Street, ladies and gentlemen.
Stephen Street, ladies and gentlemen.
So I was sitting on the sofa, and other people are making music, and they get on the radio, and it's like, oh God, I hate sitting there, and I'm not doing much, and other people are making music, and they're getting told that they're great. So Damon was off doing stuff and that, and being told he was great. And I was like, well, what about this stuff? It felt really good, in the studio. It just felt positive. We had fun. We were all together in the same room, in this hot little room, and it was casual, and it was just something we did off our own backs. And I thought it would be great to go back now it's fermented a while, and have a look. So I sort of, well, then I had to think, I really think we need somebody who is meticulous and very patient, a chap we know very well, to perhaps always well presented.
Aging well, isn't it? Really, though, seriously.
To go over it a bit, because it was quite an overwhelming prospect. There was sort of, for want of a better word, jamming, There was some sonic landscaping being created. That was quite a lot. It was quite a lot of stuff to go through.
Any songs that kind of ended up on the record? Anything that kind of took shape?
All the ideas ended up on the
All
record.
the ideas. So I thought, and I said, Damon, can I have a little chat? What are you, is that your job as well?
I mean, nice.
Well, I'll have a drink then. Sorry, look, I was in autopilot then, and now I've tripped over myself. I just thought, well, you know, well, tell you what, this is a good idea, and if there's anything there, I think it'll be worth looking at. So I said to Damon, I said, do you mind if I have a look at all this music and see if there's anything there pursuing? If there isn't, fair enough. If there is,
how quickly did it take you to work out that you had something that could turn into an album, that could be a body of work? You know?
Well, the thing is, I mean, I liken it to somebody's notes, sort of scrawling all over a big book and pages falling out, and I just thought we need someone to organise it. So we slung it over to Stephen, and he kind of looked through it and got bits together, organised it, and then I joined him. And
definitely. Good to see
want
you.
to share my microphone?
Yeah, we could do it like Steven Tyler and Joe
Me
Perry.
to
We could
get
be like,
Stephen Street.
you get a microphone for Stephen.
You can say how you thought it.
Yeah, because I am interested about this, because it's one thing to go
I
for
might be
5
lying,
days,
you know, I might
and
be
then
lying.
what I heard, I mean, can I say I've heard the record? Okay, so I had to have heard the record because I wanted to hear it before I talk to you about it. For a start, it's amazing. You're all going to love it. It's a really absolutely brilliant Blur album, and I'm amazed that from 5 days you were able to kind of pick up that thread and start to build something from it, because it feels like, you know,
There were a lot of good ideas put down.
I mean, back in the past, the boys used to go off and do demos of every song that we ever recorded, and then they'll be given the kind of the green light by the label, saying you can do that song, and that song. This time around, it was a case of the guys, they were just being really free and putting down their ideas, you know, freely in the studio, which is what you did, isn't it? I mean, you went in there and just played, and it was great. And then I basically said, look, I was obviously first of all delighted to get involved, but this time, instead of like having to re-record the songs all over again, it was actually just recording these ideas that they freely had put down, and then just developing those. And
what was the first song that really took shape? That really, can you remember that?
I can't remember anything really
well,
about
I mean,
the
session
process, because it was so
quick,
intense and quick.
Yeah.
Can you all hear?
But by the time Stephen and I got, I mean, there were some ones that were a little more obvious to tackle first, and then there were others that seemed more sort of dense, you know. Because I think on the record there are some, go on, but you know, things that are kind of obviously Blur, but then there are things that may not sort of really sound like classically what people think.
Were you all present when you started to? Were you all present when you started to do phase 2 of this record?
No, they did their. Graham came to me, said, "I think we've got something here." I went, "Brilliant, go and have a look at it." I mean, you know, I was really busy doing what I was doing, and so Stephen and Graham went off, and then they came back, played it to me what they'd done, and it was like, oh no, this is really good.
I mean, it was a lot to go through.
It was
15
it was like very
years.
mixed emotions for me,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I really felt at the end of the last gigs we did that was it. That was the end. That was the end. Not for any sort of heavy reason. It's just it had run its course, and there's no way we could do another gig without a new record.
Yes.
I think the longer we sort of left it, the more of a mountain to climb it became in a way. And the period in Hong Kong, well, it just everything sort of fell right, because we got back together to do these shows in places we'd never been before, and I don't think we were really thinking about making a record. There was suddenly just this opportunity to get in a studio together, and rather than like sort of trying to make like a big comeback single and all but feeling loads of pressure, we've been playing together loads because we were on the road.
We actually sounded like a band at that point. So it was really accidental. There's not been in a sense, there's not been an effort. This record at all. It's been completely natural and spontaneous. So anyway, you came, you finished.
Well, that was what I was trying to say about the demo thing. It was that you could tell by listening to the recordings that there was no pressure on them. They were just putting down ideas, but it was really good, because as Damon said, they were in the middle of touring, so they were playing well.
I was just singing really lyrically what was coming into my head, and because I was in Hong Kong, I was just thinking about what happened on the on the journey to the studio, I'd know what happened last night, or what was happening. You know, just everything was related to being on that in that quite claustrophobic island with millions and millions and millions and millions of other people,
which carried over into the finished lyrics of the record in some respect.
Well,
as well.
see, so then they played it to me, and I think I had to go back to Australia to finish off my tour. So I was in Australia, and then I knew that we were sort of, at that point, everyone had gone, okay, there is a record here, and I was going, well, there is a record here, but I haven't done any lyrics for the whole record. There's I can hear loads of stuff, but it doesn't make much sense at the moment, so I sort of thought, well, I better go back to Hong Kong. So on the way back from Australia, which was really, it was Christmas time by now, and I really I wanted to get home. I didn't really want to go somewhere else, but I did. I did. I'm really glad I did, but I'm really glad I did.
You did do some work on this record.
I bloody fucking did. But the point is, I'm really glad I did, because it gave me a really interesting sort of set of things to write about, because I was remembering the time we were there.
Yeah.
The moment I was there, which was literally the sort of 24 hours after they'd scrubbed all the streets clean of the protests. It had just disappeared. It was literally, you wouldn't know anything had ever happened. But that was very fresh in my mind from watching it on television and thinking about it. And it's also previous experiences that I'd had in Hong Kong when we were with Gorillas, and when I went there to do Monkey. I spent quite a lot of time in Hong Kong and China, so I've got quite a strong emotional connection to China.
Just imagine you being in Hong Kong with this music in your ears that only you have, and the chance for you to really add, a very important element to this in a place on your own.
And it also gave me an opportunity to write about my visit to North Korea, which I'd done the year previous, which I'd written loads of stuff, but I had no anywhere, and it felt like it was a song called Pyongyang, which sort of, Devil's in
Did you go to North Korea?
That's the track list of the album, by the way.
Did you?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I did go to North Korea.
Did you guys know that? Am I way behind the eight ball?
Well, anyway, I went to North Korea. There's a song about it. Okay. But no, it felt like it was near enough to Hong Kong for to sort of keep in. But no, so that's what I did. I just sort of made sure everything was about that, and it was about us and us there and how we felt when we were there and our relationship with each other. So it proved to be an interesting subject matter. I found it an interesting thing to do. Yeah. And then I had to sing it, and I was really, really nervous, because I haven't sung anything with Stephen since Beetlebum. That's the last thing I sang.
Over 18 years since the last time Damon and I worked together.
Wow.
So we were both, I was nervous too.
Yeah.
Because I worked with it with Gray first of all. We kind of really we just went in there like a couple of kids.
You guys have worked together since, obviously.
Yeah. So it wasn't such a big step for me working with Graham, because obviously we've done quite a few.
We fell out terribly, and we hadn't talked to each other since.
No, come on.
But no, we were like kids in the sweet shop, just like, oh, try this, let's try that, and we're trying to put some shape into these recordings that the guys have done.
Yeah.
And then we were both very nervous, taking it back to Damon to play to him, to say, look, this is what we've done. Do you like it?
I was really nervous.
What I was doing, and anything new that I was bringing to the recordings, and it was a bit about sort of structuring what we had, getting dynamics in there, etc., but also not overwhelming it, leaving a lot of space, and also hoping that it would be inspiring to then give to Damon.
Yeah, we did. I mean,
I'm so bloody delighted it happened, because it's I've longed for it.
The coffee F chop was pretty difficult.
We've got some very important questions to put to you guys from Facebook and also from the floor. We're going to go to the floor for press too. But the first one is, the first question here is, I think it's a very important question from D. Svizada. Do you cook? I know you do.
I love cooking.
Yeah, any good?
Yeah.
Specialty?
Well, I'm really into Persian cooking at the moment. That's what I'm stuck on at the moment.
You're a student of the kitchen.
I love cooking.
Dave?
I eat, really. That's my main speciality.
Graham?
Well, when I do, I cook.
And Alex, what are you working on right now, apart from yourself?
It was my first job cooking. My granddad was a chef.
Right.
Check out my series recipes that rock.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Stephen, the cook.
He's an ex-food critic.
Do we have any questions from the floor? Where's our first question from the press? Yeah. Matt?
Hi, hello, Matt Everett, 6 Music, Radio 2. First of all, congratulations on keeping it quiet. That never happens.
Hello, Matt.
I had no idea we were going to keep it quiet beyond Christmas. I was saying, this is a stupid idea, it's going to leak. And
Actually,
it did
no.
leak this morning, but I mean, I had no idea.
you guys did that, though.
We leaked it.
Did we
You
leak it?
guys
Or,
did that. That was so quick. I think so.
I mean, hats off to everyone that knew and didn't blab.
Yeah.
It's just more. It's just a little bit more exciting if you are able to keep something quiet, not open your gob.
It has meant planning what to do next is rather difficult because we
Although,
can't say.
honestly, when in the past when I've been asked, is there a record, and I've said no, I genuinely thought no one's asked me since I knew there was a record. Yeah,
right.
So
That
just
was
so
the
I
weird
didn't lie.
thing. Absolutely, that was the same for me. And normally, at the end of every interview, the last question is, "So when's the next Blur album?" Suddenly, in November of last year, that stopped. Nobody asked. I was thinking,
Because they're not interested anymore.
well, at least give me the opportunity to flannel and backpedal. I can't explain it.
Yeah, actually, the question was, so with your albums in the past, you've talked about the lyrics being influenced by the Far East here, and in the past, whether it's Reykjavik for 13 or Morocco on Think Tank, the sounds of the records have sounded a bit like the cities they've been influenced by, even Parklife in London. As in terms of you playing, does it sound like a record that's been recorded in the Far East?
Yeah.
Yes,
In
absolutely.
what way?
I don't know,
Well, you're going
Thank you.
but it does.
Next question.
you're going to hear some of it fairly shortly, I think. Is
Yeah.
that right?
It does. There's
You're
something
gonna
about
hear
it.
a track.
There's something about it. There's something about
One track.
the studio that we recorded it in, or the majority that we record the sort of the power supply, some of the instruments, the sound of the desk, everything is really different. I mean, I've recorded in a lot of places around the world now, and every place has a different spirit to it. And you know, it was really interesting to sort of make that decision that it was going to be about Hong Kong. But I mean, there's points in the record where I think it really sounds. I don't know if you agree with me, but I think you do. It sounds like a bit like sort of the stuff that David Bowie did in Berlin. It's got that. I don't know. There's something about
It's transposed to
other
different
cities.
places, isn't it?
Recording in other big cities sometimes is, you know, it's not. There's nothing pastoral about it. It's very much an urban record.
Here's a question here from Julian Cordonu. What's your most memorable concert you've played? Alex, do you have one that really sticks out?
We were next to the borderline this morning. I remember that one. Glastonbury 2009 was pretty special. Do you think?
Yeah, that's.
was.
It'd be very difficult to.
But I just treat everyone like the next one would be a good one, I reckon.
I think we've been quite lucky in the fact that when we do choose to get together, that some sort of you can interpret it as a sign, or there's something very lovely happens, whether it's just the sun setting at the right time, or whether it's there's something going on, something makes it really worthwhile, even if it's for a split second. And then
Let's take another question from the floor.
Hi. John Earls at Loaded. Is this Hyde Park the end of Blur, or will you tour the album? And could there even be another Blur album after
Yes,
this one?
it's the end of Blur.
Brutal.
I've given up even trying to answer that question. I mean,
you don't know, do you?
It doesn't matter.
It's
does
not
it,
something you know.
I mean,
You
it's
can
really,
know.
really nice to have something physically in our hands that we're really proud of, that we can go out and play and do some of our old tunes as well, and just mix it all together.
I mean, just like
that's exciting. But as far as any future plans,
The first interview I did about this album earlier on in the week, the last question was, what about the next Blur album? And I thought, I'm going to dine out on that forever, because it isn't even technically finished and they're still talking about the next one.
it is technically finished.
Is it now?
Yeah.
Well, I hope there's more shows. I want to
Technically
imagine if you
finished
spend all this time waiting to make new music and to get new songs, that surely the reward for you is to be able to play them. So I would, without having any information, I would probably hope that there'll be shows. Because one show would be,
No, it's not just going to be.
Here's a new album, here's one show.
There's not just going to be one show. We've got to sort of work up until that, and I don't know what we're going to do.
It's very hard to organise anything else anyway, because you can't announce anything, so how are you going to say?
Tim Botterer wants to know, what are you going to do for the Chinese New Year? You got any special plans?
We're going out for Chinese.
We're going out for Szechuan later.
Together. It's even longer since we worked together.
Enemy.
Hello. No, Q and Mojo.
Oh.
It's Paul. Hello.
But you used to work for the enemy.
I did.
You don't
Things
work for the
change
NME?
over time.
It's like bands splitting up and getting back together again.
No, technically, we never split up.
In terms of this lovely list of songs, which one are you all most looking forward to playing live together as a band?
Most of them will be pretty awesome live, I reckon. I mean, the song that we're going to put out today, "Go Out," is I can't.
I'm looking forward to playing
I can feel that already happening.
Muslim Street's pretty dope.
Yeah, that's.
It's all going to be quite challenging because there's lots and lots of layers on this record, as you'll hear when you hear it. So it's not a kind of sit back and.
But it's a record we can play live because we created it just by playing together. So there's no. There's no. It's not a technically sort of tricky or deceptive record. What you hear is what we played.
This
in a
one
very
from-
old-fashioned sense of the word.
This one from Dan Lauer.
No auto-tune either.
On the drums.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when we first started making records, we get to the studio and they say, Beatles made their first record in a fucking day. And we'd spend like a day trying to spend like a day making the drums up.
They've been playing in Hamburg for a year and a half, and that's why they can play like that. And it's definitely better to go and record an album when you've been playing a lot, you know, which is generally what people don't do when they get into the sort of cycle. And this is why it's difficult for bands to carry on making sort of energetic and music, and generally bands get to a point where they're just sort of in the quagmire of studios and their lives and the process of, you know, and everything sort of loses that spontaneity. And having given it I mean, how long is it since? So it's 16 years.
16 years since
16 years since we made it, and that seemed like a long enough break for us to do something fresh.
Yeah.
But we did do it together for 16 years, like every day for a long time, and it does sort of all seem to fit back together quite nicely.
There's a question here from online from Amanda Carlton. What are your favourite Blur lyrics? If that's too difficult to think about an entire catalogue of individual lines, lyrics, or songs,
I always like it. I like the kind of factual-ish narrative, but I like it when Damon's being a lot more revealing about and expressing something about himself, taking that risk, however veiled it might be. But some of them actually in the new record, I think that's what actually, as an interpreter almost, guitar player, of somebody who can be quite veiled lyrically. You know, it's a kind of a process to me to sort of, you know, it's something I have to unravel or find what is personal to me, just like everybody who listens to lyrics. They find what it means to them and then whatever. But then I have to sort of feed it out the other end. You know what I mean?
No.
And in the form of a guitars, whatever. So it's like, but it's the lyrics or glimpses of lyrics or snatches of words that were made in Hong Kong and things like that. And he can be very succinct. He can say a lot, very few words.
Do you have a favourite song on the album, Dave?
Yeah, I really love Pyongyang. It's really, really beautiful. And I actually listened to the album when it was all finished and had a good idea of what I thought each song was about. And then I asked Damon to send the lyrics over and read them again and got a completely different idea. So but Pyongyang I really like.
Ong Ong's a banger, no doubt. And
Ong Ong is got an extraordinary story to it. Because Ong Ong was a idea that I don't know why it was called Ong Ong. I mean, I think I can't even remember this. Steve, is Sedgwick here? Because he knows this story. Anyway, I had a demo of an idea called Ong Ong, and it ended up being something that we worked on. And when it came back to, like, right, I've got to write lyrics, and it's called Ong Ong, and I went, well, what's Ong Ong about? So I looked up, because I couldn't remember, on the internet what Ong Ong. There was no nothing revealed, and then I suddenly realised they've put an H and a K. It's Hong Kong.
Crazy.
Honestly, it's about 3-4 years old.
Long
That's
before
an
you
idea.
ever ventured into that studio.
No, that's weird. Don't you think that's really, really
Potentially so.
cosmically odd?
It's a Google whack as well.
Yeah.
Like your search revealed
Nothing.
0 results.
No, but Ong Ong doesn't. There's some sort of dodgy holding company for I don't know, Starbucks or something called Ong Ong. But apart from that, no, Ong Ong means absolutely nothing unless
you put an H and a K in it.
And then it's
Let's take another question from the floor. Yeah.
Hiya. You said there's a track about your visit to North Korea. Could you
Yes.
tell us a bit more about the lyrics to it and how you think it'll be received?
I think I'll just give myself enough time to sort of.
Take another question from the floor.
Yeah. No, I mean it's an impression, isn't it? You know, it's my impression of the place in a very abstract, veiled way.
So Graham will love it then.
Yeah, Graham will love it.
Let's take another one from the floor.
It's there. You just got. You listen when you listen to it. It's self-explanatory what it's about.
Canals.
I don't like talking about lyrics to songs until you've heard them. You know what I mean? Because otherwise, it doesn't really. It's not contextually correct.
Just trail away off that one.
What?
Just keep trailing
Yeah,
away.
just sort of, Next question.
Hi.
Hello there, Bart Sutherland from Rolling Stone. Are fans in America going to get a chance to see you play live, take these songs over there?
Maybe. I think it depends on whether anyone's interested or not. You know.
I think they're interested.
Well, if they are, then we'll probably go.
Great.
How do they tell you they're interested? What do they
Well,
need to do?
there are ways. You know, very simple
Buying
ways.
the record is always a good start.
Very simple, old-fashioned ways of doing it.
Okay, let's take another one here as well. What do you guys do in between the recording schedule? So while you're making the record, you had your thing going on. Let's focus this on Dave and on Alex. While this album was being made, what was keeping you busy during that time?
I did, musically, like, I mean, as far removed from this as you can get, really. Like learning how to play the bass with a bow and working on me Prokofiev chops.
Dave, were you?
I'm bizarrely a criminal lawyer, so that takes up every spare second of the day forever.
Are you your own boss?
No, I work for a big company.
So do you have to apply for time off in order to go into this record?
They're very understanding with my musical
What about your
commitments.
clients?
I
I'm
let the
putting this on hold for a
clients
couple
know.
of months.
Stay on parole for
It might really seriously affect your life plans, but I've got to go tour an album. Let's take
There are
another
plenty of
quick-
people that can pick up the reins where I've left off.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Yep.
Hi, Sinead from Radio 1 here.
Hi.
So when are we going to hear the album? When's it going to be available?
You're going to hear a track now, I think.
April 27, if you want me to answer that question for you.
Indeed.
You're not going to play a track now because that's embarrassing.
No.
What without
We're not.
seeing him?
Okay.
April 27 is the
Well, I'm not
album, is it
doing
not?
that.
That's the album,
June
April
20th,
27?
Hyde Park.
Yep, and look at me being your PR guru. April 27 for the album, June 20 for Hyde Park, and very soon we're going to be listening to a brand new song and seeing a lyric video from Blur.
I think if you
Well, I think
order the
you'll be
album,
pressing your big shiny red button later on, won't you? When
You'll be joining me on the show?
Yeah, you will,
It's
yeah.
not a big shiny red button anymore, but yeah, sure. Okay, I think they want me to...
I think you can get Go Out like today. I think is that right? That you can have that today.
Instantly.
So
Great.
Yes. Today.
Okay,
Yes,
so I think
that's
that's
the
it for
signal.
questions now. So without further ado, there were two things we wanted to talk about. One of them was the instant great video. There was something else as well. Thank you very much for you all for coming. That's what it was.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks very much.
I sincerely hope that all of this, attention is warranted. Yeah. If
So
thank
thank
you
you
ever
people
so
online
much
as
for
well.
coming.
Millions of people
Indeed.
online who are
Thank
watching
you very
right
much.
now.
Thank you very
A
much.
few people online.